With the end of the year coming fast, it is time to rebalance and get this challenge ready to make profits in 2025. Hold on to your seatbelts, folks. This is going to be a good one. 2025 is going to be a very interesting year for investors, and going into it, there are a lot of uncertainties. In fact, 2025 may be one of the more challenging years to prepare for, and there will no doubt be lots of room for the unexpected. The big question will be all about the effects of the new U.S. administration. Will Trump be good or bad overall for the market? Many think he will be a positive catalyst, while many others worry that some of his possible policies could also be very bad for the market. We do know that the new administration will be good for Bitcoin, and of course crypto in general, but that doesn't mean Bitcoin is going to the moon forever. There will still be crypto winters, and that could play a role later into 2025. I think when it comes to planning for the coming year, you must step back from the things we can't really get a solid read on. More of your focus should be on what we do have a better idea what is in store in 2025. With the rebalance I did in the challenge in November, that is exactly what I did. I looked at the nose and positioned the challenge to take advantage of the more certain probabilities for the first half of the new year. In Canada, rate cuts are going to continue, and this will be good for the real estate and utility sectors for sure. Communications will also benefit, but on more of a delayed timetable. They do need to find new ways to grow, so that could also hinder the recovery. I do expect Bitcoin and other key cryptocurrencies to continue to do well in the first part of 2025. This is a sector I will continue to monitor, as I do worry that a crypto winter could perhaps come in the second half. The banking sector is another one that could go either way, depending on how they weather the mortgage renewals. Luckily, with the rate cuts, we have seen this could be a positive stimulus for sure. However, I do expect things may get rocky for some of the banks in the short term.
Should I sell my banks?
I don't think things will get bad enough that you must sell your banks. I see this turmoil more of an opportunity to average down a wee bit. I think on the other side, the banks will be just fine. One last worry that a lot of folks have is the R word. Are we going into a recession in 2025? Nobody can tell you for sure if a recession is in the cards or not. Obviously, we still have a positive GDP, so a technical recession cannot occur in the first half of 2025. That does not mean we will get one in the second half. In fact, I don't see a recession in 2025 at all. I think as rate cuts continue, people will spend more, and that definitely should offset any negative GDP pressure we get from reducing the immigration rate. Speaking of the future, a sub to the channel is the best way to enjoy 2025 content. Let's get into the challenge portfolio. We will start with the stocks that we have not added to in this cycle. So we have Brookfield Asset Management with a total return of 57.17%. This is one of my favorite stocks, and I think this total return shows you exactly why. We've also got Scotiabank sitting at 36.48%. C&Q coming in with a total return of 1.21%. I do love this stock, and I expect to see them moving up sooner than later. We also have CNR coming in with a total return of 2.87%. I almost had an opportunity to average down this month, but I just missed that window. Canoe EIT coming in at a nice looking 32.32%. They're still kicking butt for sure. We also have Fortis coming in at 18.24%, Hammond Manufacturing 18.08%, and QQCL coming in at 6.70%. I am still bullish on tech, so I will be adding more to this one soon. We have TransAlta sitting at a total return of 34.89%. Oh boy, this utility company has been on a fire. So we also have XEG, so that's the iShares Capped Energy Index, coming in at 2.62%. Let's switch gears and look at the stocks we have added to this time around. Starting with BCE, I did add one more share, taking my Bell total up to 11. We currently have a total return of negative 14.14%. I am expecting a slower recovery on this one, but I may continue to average down. Next, we have Bird Construction. I added one more share, taking us up to 6. Their total return in the challenge is sitting at a nice looking 45.37%. Next, we have BTCC.B. I also added 3 more shares, taking this ETF up to 40 shares and a total return of 68.43%. Holy banana bread, that's pretty darn good. Bitcoin has been on fire, and this ETF is showing you exactly that. Looking at Diversified Royalty Corp, I added another 8 more, taking us up to 93 in total. They are sitting at a total return of 12.17%. PHX Energy Services, I doubled this position from 5 to 10 shares, and we have a total return of 4.48%. I also added one more share of Pizza for a total of 21 shares and a total return of negative 0.28%. Pizza is slowly climbing back to the green, and I do expect them to be there next time. Moving on, we have RioCan. I added 10 more for a total of 40 shares. They currently are sitting at a 6.77% total return in the challenge. But, as I said earlier, real estate is one of those sectors I am angling towards in 2025. Of course, one of my favorite ETFs right now is RMAX. I did add another 10 shares of this REIT ETF for a total of 30 shares. They are currently sitting at a 4.49% total return in the challenge. I've got some high expectations for this one for sure. Moving on to Sir Royalty, I added 5 more for a total of 40 shares, and we do currently have a total return of negative 8.43%. This is another one I am expecting to keep climbing as we move into 2025. Maybe I'm going out on a limb here, but I think it is possible they could be back in the green by mid-2025. Looking at Timber Creek Financial, I added 10 more for a total of 50 shares, and this mortgage investment company has thus far produced a total return of 5.46%. I did add one more share of cash for a total of 4 shares, and that sets my cash position at 1.82%. I may be switching to a different cash ETF soon, as this one is cutting their dividend. Now, looking at my US stocks, I did add more to the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF. I doubled that position from 5 to 10, and they thus far have a total return of 6.71%. Okay, let's take a look at some new stocks that I added positions to this time around. We have the Vanguard S&P 500 Index, so VFV. I opened with a single share in this very blue chip ETF that will perform well over this challenge for sure. In fact, it already is sitting at a total return of 6.92%. That's not too shabby. The second new position I added was MSTY. This is one of those yield max ETFs, and it is a play to take advantage of that Bitcoin surge expected to last into 2025. This ETF writes naked options on MicroStrategy, and they have been pumping out huge returns. In fact, I am already at a total return on this one of 40.21%. I will be honest here though, this is a shorter term play, as I don't want to see what happens with this one when we do enter that crypto winter I was talking about earlier. We did a lot of buying in November, and to finance that, we did say goodbye to some positions. Liberty Energy, I closed this position selling 4 shares for a $10.39 loss. I think they will get back in the green, but for now, this money was more useful in other places. We also said goodbye to YNVD, so that is that Purpose NVIDIA Yield ETF. I closed this ETF selling 10 shares for a profit of $106.90. I have full faith in NVIDIA and will be back, but for now, the MicroStrategy play looks to be a bigger return. So I'm definitely hoping this was a good move. Only time will tell. I also sold 1 share of AIQ, that was the Global XFTS. We ended up with a profit of $6.91. Finally, we had Air Canada. Of course, that Air Canada swing trade came to an end, and as I had intended, sold out at $21 a share for a total profit of $85.50. I had really hoped this swing could have had more time to stack more shares, but it is what it is. Okay, let's take a quick look at the overall portfolio. November was a solid green month on the market with a few buy the dip opportunities in the month. The big money in November was with Bitcoin for sure, as new all-time highs nearly broke that $100,000 USD mark. Looking at the numbers, we did add another $500, taking our investment up to $8,500. The community added another $87 for a total of $739 thus far. You guys rock for sure. When all is said and done, that added up to a $9,239.46 investment in this challenge. We received $116.05 in dividends for a total of $411.88 thus far. When we add in the dividends and the growth, we get a portfolio value of $10,984.96. This takes our total return for the challenge up to 18.90%. Of course, the question is, can we get to that 20% mark for next time? We'll definitely see, and I'm hoping so. I think we can do it. Let's take a quick look at the portfolio's diversification with data that we pulled from the Blossom app. Speaking of Blossom, if you want to check in on the challenge, I do have it uploaded there, and there is a link below to sign up to that app. According to Blossom, our top 5 represented sectors are financials at 31.5%. This sector is still higher than I want. I really want to see that number come down. We have energy at 17.7%, industrials at 16.8%, consumer cyclical 10.2%, and real estate making the list at 9.7%. You can definitely see my efforts to boost real estate are starting to pay off. It is time to look at the toad and the goat of the portfolio for the last month. Our top 5 worst stocks this month are, well, number 5, CNR with a 2.87% total return. Number 4, Canadian Natural Resources, coming in with a 1.21% total return. At number 3, Pizza, negative 0.28%. Number 2, Sir Royalty, coming in at negative 8.43% on the total return. And our toad of the month is, no surprise, BCE. Bell comes in with that negative 14.14% total return. Let's switch gears. Let's look at our top 5 best stocks this month. At number 5, we have Scotiabank at 36.48%. Number 4, we've got Misty, MSTY, coming in at 40.21%. Number 3, Bird Construction, sitting there at 45.37%. Number 2, Brookfield Asset Management's coming in at 57.17%. And our GOAT of the month is BTCC.B, that crazy Bitcoin ETF, 68.43%. That is an insane total return. And let me say, it may be a little hard to beat, but we will definitely see next time for sure to see if, somebody can overthrow the Bitcoin ETF. Our next 0 to 100K video will be in the first week of February. Nonetheless, we still give a January update on the community tab, and you can also see what is going on with Blossom. If you are interested in any of the stocks we looked at today, don't forget to put in a whole heaping help of due diligence before you place any of your hard-earned money on the table. Let's continue that learning journey. Check out this video on blue chip Canadian ETFs. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.